When you're done watching this video, you'll know what these terms mean, but more importantly, you're going to be able to keep up with your future buyers, customers, and lawyers when they start spewing technical jargon at you. And the best part, you're not going to be intimidated or bored. Instead, you're going to be more empowered, more confident, and you'll know exactly what you'll need to do in order to grow your supplement business. If it's your first time here, I'm Brian, and it's good to meet you. I've been helping companies large and small over the last 17 years navigate FDA and FTC requirements. I want to bring that expertise to you so that you can create a very successful dietary supplement business. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to put the word or the acronym on the screen. I'm going to give your brain a bit of time to try and figure out what it means. Once time's up, I'm going to reveal the answer and fill you in on what it is and why it's important. Try to play along and let me know how you did in the comments down below. All right, let's get started. First word up. So GMP stands for Good Manufacturing Practices, and this is a catch-all phrase used in the regulations to ensure that you're making products according to the regulations, such as using a clean facility, that the workers are properly gowned up, that people are keeping ingredients safe and free of pests. But that's the doing. The other aspect of GMP is the proving, and that means documenting all the manufacturing practices that are within the procedures, keeping a log of when you clean the production areas, or that you've properly vetted an ingredient supplier. And a lot of people are really good at the doing, but they're not so great at the proving. And it's that part that really gets them in trouble with the FDA, with potential retailers and business partners. Okay, let's move on. Here's the next word. This one stands for specifications. You also hear terms like product specification or finished product specification. They all mean the same thing. And a specification is a formal technical document that is generated and approved by quality assurance and lays out all the parameters that your product needs to meet. Now, in the regulation, it specifically states that your product needs to have parameters around identity, purity, strength, and composition. This is more than just testing label claim like the content of vitamins or an extract. Although this is typically what we think of when it comes to testing, FDA wants you to factor in other key details like setting physical parameters of your product, like what it should look like or taste like. FDA is also really focused on testing of microbial and chemical contaminants like heavy metals and pathogens. But then there are other claims that you may have, like gluten-free or sugar-free, of which you're going to need to have test parameters set up to ensure that your product meets those claims. The specification lays out the pass-fail criteria for each of these parameters, and unfortunately, FDA doesn't have specific guidelines on what that is, so you want to make sure that the person putting it all together is qualified to figure it all out. At the end of the day, the specification ensures that the product is made the way you intended it to be made. Enjoying the video so far? Be sure to let me know by hitting that like button and subscribe to our newsletter to get more content like this, link down below. All right, next word. This one stands for Certificate of Analysis, which is essentially a document that reports the laboratory results from testing your product against your product specification. And not all COAs are created equal. A company that takes the time to build out a scientifically sound and robust specification will have a more respectable COA, whereas another specification that uses the wrong test methods or has the wrong parameters will render the COA pretty much useless and quite telling of your compliance program. So as you can imagine, this is a really critical step in the process. Okay, on to the next one. Ah yes, a recall plan. Now, to answer this, we first need to clarify what recall means. And I'm sure you've heard about recalls in the news, and it's essentially a company pulling its inventory off the shelf or off a website and having all the inventory returned to the company for disposal. And this is no easy task. You're going to be dealing with multiple distribution centers, multiple warehouses, a whole whack of stores, all trying to coordinate where all your product went, what was sold, and how it's going to get back to you. So enter the recall plan, which essentially will lay out the step-by-step instructions on how to properly execute the recall, like who to bring in for emergencies, what data to collect, and even what to say to your customers. I can't emphasize the importance of a recall plan. Consider it similar to a fire evacuation plan. Like, you hope you never ever need it, but once a fire does break out, you'll be glad you had one and that the people know what to do in that type of situation. Okay, let's keep going. And the next term. This one stands for Standard Operating Procedure. Your business will need to have its own quality program. Even if you're a one-person band, there are certain programs that you're going to need to have as per the dietary supplement regulations. You're going to need to build a standard operating procedure for each one, which is a step-by-step of what one needs to do in order to execute that procedure. And I know many people, my clients included, are like, but we are actually doing it. Why do I still need an SOP? Well, it comes back to the doing and the proving. Doing it is great, obviously, but you also need to document it so they can prove it to the FDA or to an auditor that you did what you said you did. And now that we have the basics down, it's time to step into the world of R&D and to show you what you'll really need to consider when it comes to building a great product. And it's not all about having product health claims. You can check out the video here. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.